Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to meet all of you guys here today. Well, before I start, let me ask you a question. Would you believe me if I tell you that you are perfect? No? Most of you guys wouldn't believe it, right? Including my friends. Among them, there is this girl who is just so perfect with what I had in mind. Her appearance is flawless, her parents are loving and wealthy, and in the next month, she's going to study abroad with a big scholarship, proving how great she is. She basically has everything that I don't, and I admire her for that. One day, I asked her out of curiosity, "Do you see yourself as perfect now?" She bluntly replied me with a big no, not even close. Turns out the things that are considered as perfect does not apply the same to her. She told me it would take a lot more to be called perfect. And that led me to believe perfection is something really hard to attain. But on the other day, while watching TV, a car popped up on the screen. It was an advertisement about a red pickup truck. My father, he is a big fan of this type of car. He excitedly told me, "Look how perfect it is. I wish I could buy one." I thought to myself, what's perfect in this car? I mean, the shape, the color, it just doesn't seem that appealing or perfect to me. Okay, what's happening here? I think this is perfect, the other thing is not, and vice versa. It helps me come to think that perfection is subjective. Even though there is a clear definition for perfect in the Oxford Dictionary, which is to be complete without faults and weaknesses. But what really are the faults and weaknesses here? If we all agree on one thing, it does not always make that an absolute fact. It will become a collection of opinions instead. The things that we call perfect are mostly based on our own perception. But what I find strange is that it's mostly in our head, and yet many people are obsessing over it like crazy. For example, a perfectly symmetrical face, a perfectly sculptured body, perfect hair, perfect skin, friends, family, or in short, an existence without fault. It's like a form clinging to an idea or grand vision of how life ought to be. Once you get obsessed with the idea of being perfect, it's like getting trapped in a hamster wheel without knowing how to stop. That's when the term wabi-sabi comes in handy. I know it sounds a lot like wasabi, but it's wabi-sabi, a Japanese term for an aesthetic philosophy applied to things surrounding us. It highlights the importance of seeing the beauty in the imperfections and the value of the passage of time. It also encourages us to openly embrace the faults and weaknesses in the existence of both human and material. In the book, Wabi Sabi Simple, written by Richard Pohl, it is noted that nothing lasts, nothing is finished, and nothing is perfect. It is necessary for us to learn that we can find beauty in imperfections by savoring and living at the present moment. Life is not and will not be perfect, but it is beautiful. And nothing is permanent, which is why every moment is, I would say, not perfect, but sacred. Whenever things don't go as you have planned it, or when you make mistakes and ruin your chance of reaching the perfection, this philosophy will help you see things differently and adapt in a healthy way. Your mistakes will teach you lessons. Your scar will mark a significant journey in your life. And by embracing the imperfections, you will be able to see and enjoy the beauty of your surroundings more. At this point, I guess we can all somewhat agree that the imperfect is the new perfect. Or if someone still insists on being perfect, then heads up, even if you are able to reach that level, it is insanely hard and tiring to maintain. Let's imagine you have a perfectly clean house. Then a small wind of dust can easily ruin that perfect status. And if you're trying to clean it over and over again, every time you see a speck of dust landing on the floor, It will show that you are resisting the imperfections. And the resistance of a person to what is called faults and weaknesses will only lead to dissatisfaction, as they refuse to accept the fact that life is inherently flawed. At this point, I guess we can all somewhat agree that the imperfect is the new perfect. Or are you still not convinced? Then let's take a look at the field of technology. That's correct. I'm talking about robots, machines that can operate various processes with much higher accuracy in a shorter amount of time compared to us human beings. Doesn't that make it seem perfect? Then why do scientists and engineers still trying so hard to improve these models? Like, what is that particular characteristic they're trying to create? It's paradoxically human-like. Yes, they are trying to create robots that resemble humans in the closest way possible. They want this flawless machine to be able to make mistakes, to recognize them, and to learn from them. In another word, we can say what makes a robot perfect turns out to be imperfection. To err is human, like they have always said. Let us not forget that we're not perfect, and we're not meant to be perfect. As we are slowly reaching the end of our journey in finding the perfection of imperfection, I guess this is the part where I give you guys my unsolicited advice. However, I am under no circumstances qualified enough to tell you what to do and what not to do, so I will not do that today. Instead, I will share you what I have learned so far. Imperfections is not roadblocks, but stepping stones in our journey. They are to have flaws, they are to make mistakes, reflect on them, cherish them, and step forward, learn from them and step forward again. That's how you're gonna grow. And only by embracing the beauty in our flaws can we find true peace and fulfillment. Thank you.